guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm delving into something that is very close to my heart and something that I've wanted to do a video on for a very long time. Migraine is probably the bane of my life, and I know lots of other people suffer as well. So I really wanted to do a video on it just to give people an idea of what it's about, what it is, what it's like. If you're somebody that's watching this right now and you're like, ugh, yeah, no, I don't suffer from migraine, I'm not going to watch this, you're the very person that I want to watch this video, for the simple reason that you could have a friend, you could have a family member, you could have a partner or a work colleague that suffers with migraine. If you're a migraine sufferer, my experience could be completely different to yours, so if it is, I'd definitely love to hear it in the comments below. I think that this particular video is something that I want to help people. I want somebody to look at this and go, oh great, I'm not alone. That's what Amy did. That's what this person in the comments did to help them. We're here to help each other. We're here to share treatment ideas, prevention ideas, various things like that. So let's get started. At this point, I would like to put in a disclaimer. I am not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, I'm not a neurologist, I don't have any knowledge in that side of things, so please, if after you watch this video you think, wow, I think I might suffer from migraine, I think, you know, that sounds like what I get, please, please, please go to your GP, go to your physician, go to whoever normally looks after your health, whoever you normally go to for that. So the first thing that I wanted to do was kind of define migraine. So I was kind of thinking, okay, if I'm somebody that's never had a migraine, doesn't know anything about migraine, what would I do? So the very first thing that I probably do is go to Google. So what I've done is just Googled the definition of migraine. So according to the dictionary definition through my Google search, migraine is a reoccurrent throbbing headache that typically affects one side of the head and is often accompanied by nausea and disturbed vision. That is part of what migraine is. I think it's definitely a very top line explanation for what migraine is, but that's not the full story, let's put it that way. I started to get migraine when I was 10, so it kind of coincided with me starting my period, which is normal. You know, a lot of times migraine is associated with the hormonal fluctuations around your time of the month if you're a woman. I remember very distinctly, I was in national school, primary school, and I was out in the playground and all of a sudden I just couldn't really see through my right side of my eye, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, I was a kid, I was 10, it's so bizarre, and I was running around and I just like, I couldn't see, and I was like, okay, this is weird. The bell rang, we went into class, and I sat there and I couldn't really verbalize, I couldn't explain what was wrong with me. Like, what do I say to the teacher? I can't see. Like, I can see, but I can't really see. So, long story short, I ended up telling the teacher. My auntie, I think at the time, actually came to collect me, brought me home. I was vomiting for the afternoon. I took some pain medication and I went to sleep. And I woke up. I still had a headache when I woke up, but I felt so much better after I had had my sleep, vomited, and it had kind of passed. So at that stage, I kind of thought, oh, that was kind of a very random kind of episode in my health, up to being like, you know, I was 10. Like, I didn't really have experience in things like that. But it turned out that was my first experience of a migraine. Throughout my teenage years, I on and off suffered with headaches and different things like that. I don't have a distinct memory of migraine marring my teenage years, thankfully, because there's enough going on in your teenage years to have to worry about. But coming into my 20s, I had them on and off again, but once I hit 25, it was kind of random. Like, once I hit 25, they became way more recurrent, and at that stage in my life then they started to kind of upset my day-to-day. They started to, you know, I had to take time off work for them, and I started to get them a lot more regularly. I'd like to think I've ticked lots of boxes in terms of prevention and treatment and all the avenues that I've gone to. I suffered from migraine for a long time before I went to my GP, which is unlike me, and it's interesting because I always knew I had migraine. I was like, yeah, this is what it is, it's fine. But then I remember talking to my GP and he was like, have you ever been diagnosed? And I was like, well, actually, no, I haven't. My GP sent me to my first kind of consultant, I guess, in order to discuss my migraine. And I had an awful experience with this particular consultant. She was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Again, if you're somebody that suffers from migraine, you'll know it's very difficult to verbalize it, to explain how things affect you. Like, you know, you say, I have brain fog. You know, for 3 days after my migraine, I can't really focus. I can't, you know, I lose my speech while I have my migraine, all of these kind of things. You're trying to tell somebody that and they're like, oh, right. And she was awful, and that scared me. And I got a migraine that evening when I went home because I was so stressed. I had like such tension. I was like, oh my God, why doesn't this person believe me that this is really serious and it's affecting my day to day and this is not good. So that put me off then talking to people. But luckily my GP persevered and he sent me to a really lovely neurologist in Galway, and this guy was an expert in migraine, and he actually works with the Migraine Association of Ireland. And he was like, yeah, 100%, this is what you've been always suffering from. These are the classic symptoms of migraine, and this is you, this is what we're dealing with. So that was good, at least to get a diagnosis. For me, and again, I can only talk about my experience, so please do share down below if you have different experiences. It's very difficult for me to know when I'm going to get a migraine attack. Sometimes I might feel a little bit wound up, I might be a little bit hyper. That sounds kind of random, but I do kind of sometimes feel a little bit hyper, or I might kind of just have a headache in the background that I'm like, oh yeah, look, it's fine, it's, you know, probably just something small and I don't take anything for it. And then all of a sudden I can just start getting the aura. So the aura, if I can verbally describe it to you, it's when somebody it's like when somebody takes a picture with a camera that has a flash, and that flash stays in your eye for maybe 20 or 30 seconds afterwards. That is what aura is like for migraine. That flash extends and expands and expands and expands, and then all of a sudden you can't see from either one or both eyes. And that's very, very scary. For me, once I get the aura, I know, okay, the aura will go away, and then I have 30 minutes where I'm not going to have any pain. Like, this is how I've pretty much timed it. I'll have 30 minutes where I won't have any pain, and in those 30 minutes I need to get home, get into a dark room, take my medication, and I need to sleep. Then the pain starts. Then the classic definition, I guess, of what people would consider a migraine to be, that starts. So I start getting the headache. The headache is like no other headache you will ever have in your life. Let me be completely clear on that. It is horrendous. It is, like, there are times I've had migraine and I've been at home on my own and I've kind of thought, am I having a brain hemorrhage? Like, I genuinely, at one stage, I remember very clearly back a couple of years ago when we lived in Athlone, thinking, should I call an ambulance for myself? I can't cope with this pain. I get slurred speech, and that is sometimes what causes me to be anxious and what causes people around me to be anxious, because, you know, what do you think? Somebody has a headache, somebody has a slurred speech. I also get tingling down my arms, sometimes into my hands, in my wrist and into my fingers, and people think you're gonna have a stroke, and sometimes I think I'm gonna have a stroke, and it's terribly scary. It's really, really frightening. So, you know, the first couple of times that happens, it's so scary, but after a while, when you've unfortunately gotten used to them, that's when you can kind of tell people, look, this is what's gonna happen, this is the story, I am fine, I just need to get home, I need to get medication, I need to get into my bed. For me, migraine in its entirety will last for probably 3 days, and I know people are like, what, 3 days? Don't get me wrong, I don't have that horrendous headache for 3 days. I don't. I have it for, it could last 8 to 12 hours, but I'll always have a background headache. And maybe the background headache is what somebody would, you know, consider to be awful, but to me it's like, listen, it's okay, I can function with this. So the days following a migraine, my mood is so low. Like, it's just so low, because, and I don't even really know why, it's just so low. I suppose I'm just so tired from the whole experience. I'm obviously still taking pain medication. Sometimes the medication is going to make you groggy. Sometimes the medication is going to make you constipated as well. And that's the reality of it too. And for me then, my concentration is shot. Like, it's gone. And it's very frustrating when, you know, I might be in work and I get a migraine and I have to go home. The next day then, you know, if I do feel well enough to go in, and the lights, like anything like artificial lights, computer screens, even phones, it just creates such a sense of frustration, because everything is off kilter, everything is just not right, and your productivity is so low. Well, my productivity is so low. So triggers for migraine vary for absolutely everybody, and, you know, I'm no exception. Triggers to me, people say to me, oh, do you eat a lot of cheese, do you eat a lot of chocolate, do you drink a lot of wine? I'm like, no, like yeah, I do. I have chocolate almost every day. Shouldn't really want to admit that, but I do. I have chocolate almost every day, and no, that doesn't affect me. Cheese, no, that doesn't affect me. Wine, I don't drink, so like that's not really gonna affect me either. For me, my triggers are lack of sleep. If I'm stressed, I tend to hunch my shoulders and I tend to carry all my tension in my shoulders and up into my neck, and that's more often than not when I get a migraine. I actually more tend to get a migraine after a stressful event. So it's almost like I've been like stressed and like tense, and then I'm like, oh, it's over, and then I start to kind of relax, and then I'll get hit with a migraine attack. And that's normally how it works for me. Triggers for some people can be something like somebody's perfume. It can be a light just flashing. You know, if you get a flash of a light, like we described already with the flash of a camera, that can be a trigger. I know for my dad, that's one of his triggers. Yeah, like I say, smells, perfume, certain foods, certainly. For me, another trigger is sugar. So if I have a really sugary dessert, there's a good chance I'm going to get a migraine after that. I remember back a couple of weeks ago, I had a fabulous slice of lemon meringue pie in our local cafe that I love, and got a massive migraine that evening. So that was just basically for me, my body saying, boom, you've had way too much sugar. This is not good, we're not happy with this. Trigger could be dehydration. Some people can't drink too much coffee. That can be a trigger as well. Some people might have an intolerance to some food stuffs like dairy, and that might trigger migraines also. Migraines can also be a side effect of medication. Migraines can also be a side effect of an underlying condition. So that's why I'm really trying to say, go to your doctor. If you have any of these symptoms, please go to your doctor. There are various things that could be going on with you don't know about. A migraine is just one of those things that is you know, coming up as a symptom. Also, if you're on the pill or if you're on various hormonal medications, migraine can be a side effect of those as well. So again, this I just can't stress how important it is to speak to your doctor about this, and to kind of know where you sit as an individual in terms of your migraine treatment, your causes, your triggers, and prevention. So migraine treatment. Now, I do want to say here, I'm not going to discuss any prescribed medications. I'm just not. This is not the right forum. It's not appropriate for me to discuss prescribed medications, whether I've been on them or not. However, like I said at the very beginning with my disclaimer, if you feel like, you know, if any of those symptoms that I've described, or you've looked up anything and those symptoms look familiar to you, please talk to your doctor. There are so many treatments now for migraine. Not all treatments are going to work for you, just be mindful of that. It's very like other situations, be it like depression or anxiety. Some medications will work brilliantly, others won't. Others will work, but they'll have side effects, and you'll have to make a decision as to whether or not you can withstand the side effects in order to get the benefit of the medication. So really, that's something you need to discuss with your GP. So in terms of treatment, what I'm going to talk about is over-the-counter painkillers, and what you can do to help yourself to treat your migraine when you're in that migraine state. So first of all, your painkiller of choice. Personally, for me, when I have a migraine, if you give me basic paracetamol, forget about it. That is not going to work, and that is through years and years of me trying and knowing and, you know, just my experience. I need something codeine based that is going to help. There are various opinions out there as to whether codeine based painkillers are good for migraine pain. People disagree on whether or not they're appropriate. For me, it's all that works, and that's just the story. That's just how it is. I do need an anti-inflammatory, and I need codeine base, so something like Norepinephrine Plus or Solpadeine is going to help me in that initial stage. It's going to dull the pain. It's not going to take the pain away for me. Check out with your doctor what you can and can't use. Some people have an intolerance to codeine. Some people are asthmatic and mightn't be able to take Nurofen or any ibuprofen, anti-inflammatories, aspirin, anything like that. So please, if you're getting a painkiller, particularly for something like migraine, where you might already be disorientated, talk to your pharmacist, talk to your pharmacy technician, or your GP if you're talking to them, and get advice on your pain medication for migraine. For me as well, I need to take something for nausea, so something like Motilium. You can get that over the counter in your pharmacy. Once you don't have any heart conditions, that should be fine for you to take. Again, if it's something that you feel like you need more often, talk to your doctor about it. They can give it to you on prescription. Motilium is great. It can just prevent that awful nauseous feeling that you're going to get when you have a migraine. The next few things in terms of treatment is really kind of what you can do for yourself. So just the little things that I've picked up is I need a dark room. So initially I need a dark room, I need my eye mask, and my earplugs, and I just need to sleep. But in order for me to get to sleep, I do need to just have my eye mask block out any light. This is one of my eye masks that I have. I absolutely love this one because it has kind of like little grooves in it. It's almost like a bra for your face, but you can put it on over your eyes and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't crush your eyes in. And it sounds really strange, but it doesn't. And it has a little kind of like Velcro thing at the back so you can adjust it. Around the time of your migraine, your head is going to be extremely sensitive, so the last thing you want is something really tight elastic around your head that's going to increase the pressure that's already there. So this is fantastic. I think I got this when I was abroad. I got it somewhere in like TK Maxx or something like that, but look, they're very basic. You'll pick them up everywhere. The other thing is a cooling eye mask. So I got mine, I think in Pennies. It has cucumbers on it. I have it in the fridge. I'm not going to go up and get it, but it has cucumbers on the front of it and it has gel in it, and I keep it in the fridge all the time. And if I get a bad headache or a migraine, or even if just my eyes feel puffy, I pop this on over it. It is amazing. Sometimes I'll pop on my cooling eye mask and then put this on over it, and it just, for me, gives me such great relief. There are also cooling eye masks that you can get in Boots. You can get them in little sachets. They're disposable ones. I'm not really too keen on the disposable ones when you can just have one that you can use all the time. In general, what you want to do around the time of your migraine is be nice to yourself, and that is a fact. You need to be nice to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Please, please, please don't force yourself to do things. So if you have a bad migraine and you have a party to go to, cancel. Like, don't go to the party. Look after yourself. I've made that mistake so many times of having a bad migraine, sleeping and then getting up and, you know, going about my commitments, and you're not the better for it, and it takes you longer to recover. So please don't do that. Please just be kind to yourself. For me, sometimes my migraines come from tension in my neck and in my shoulders. So if you can get somebody to give you a massage, or if you can go to somebody, a professional that can give you a massage, that is also going to help you a little bit. Also, really, really, really important to hydrate around the time of your migraine. It is going to help with everything. It's going to help your bowels move better, it's going to help your digestion, and it's going to stop you from getting a headache from dehydration on top of the headache you probably already have with your migraine. So just keep on top of your water. Look, if you are vomiting, you're probably not going to be able to keep it down, but just be conscious of it. Don't allow yourself to get dehydrated. Try your very, very best to improve your hydration. How to prevent migraine. God, like, yeah, if I knew this, my life would be totally different. What I find for me is getting enough sleep. Getting enough sleep is absolutely key for me. I need to have at least my 7.5 hours sleep a night, otherwise I'm susceptible to migraine. Another thing for me is trying to reduce stress. That's difficult. That's really, really hard in this modern world. When you have a significantly busy Monday to Friday job, stress can be a factor. For me, I guess I've tried to deal with my stress in meditating more, in being more mindful, in various different ways. Having outlets, my self-care has improved a lot as well, and that's all fed into reducing my migraine attacks, definitely. So reducing stress, and kind of, again, it comes back to treatment, like being kind to yourself, being nice to yourself, giving your body what it needs. So having a well-balanced diet, getting your exercise, and making sure your water intake is on par each day. If you find that something like getting a massage every 2 or 3 weeks is going to help you with your migraines, or getting something done, like I've started to get reflexology done. I'm not sure if that's going to have an effect on my migraines, but it's amazing. Again, your self-care and going to these, you know, having these therapies or having these treatments in order to relieve your stress, reduce what might be causing your migraines. Really, really important in the prevention of migraines. A little tip that I got from the neurologist that I saw in Galway was to use magnesium. So magnesium has been proven to help reduce migraines, help prevent migraines, and help in the treatment of migraines. So magnesium in your body is going to help regulate your nervous system, and, you know, obviously everything that is to do with your migraine is nerve related. It's neurology, it's a neurological condition, so magnesium is going to help that as well. The magnesium that I use is the one from Boots, and that's the one that was recommended to me by my consultant in Galway. I'm going to get it and show you. So this is the one that I use. It's from Boots. It's the 375 milligram per tablet. My consultant recommended that I take 3 of them, so I take in or around 1,000 milligrams a day of magnesium. Be aware, this gives you really bad diarrhea. So don't do what I did and go whole hog into taking 3 a day and then wonder why everything you eat literally runs through you. So just that's an FYI on the magnesium bit. It does give you GI disturbances, let's say. Seemingly as well, when we're stressed, we deplete magnesium, so maybe they're connected as well. I'm not 100% on that. I just take it because I was advised by my consultant. I've researched it and it definitely is recommended, and various doctors I've seen since have always stood by magnesium sprays. You can get some of them in the health store, and it's meant to be quite good. So maybe try that if that's something else that you want to look into for your prevention of migraine. Another thing to do would be go to your optician and just make sure that your eyes are okay and your eyesight and everything like that is good too. And just get a general check over with your GP. Make sure your blood pressure is okay, make sure your diet is good, make sure your blood sugars and various things like that are all kind of in check as well. If you can go to a neurologist and get diagnosed, go for it. Do it. Definitely do it. They'll give you really, really good information. In terms of information, just coming on to that actually, the Migraine Association of Ireland is fantastic. And if anything, those kind of sources make you realise you're not alone and other people suffer from these things, and you can get through it. You will be fine. But you need to seek help. You need to talk to people. Also, what I would urge you to do if you're a migraine sufferer is please talk to your family and friends. So I come from a family of migraine sufferers, unfortunately, but it just means that we understand each other, and if somebody can't do something for the reason they have a migraine, we're like, that's okay, we understand, that's fine. My husband has never, I think he's had probably he could have had 4 headaches in his life. I'm so jealous. When I explained to him what migraine was like, and when he physically saw me going through loads of different migraine attacks, he has become just so brilliant. He's so receptive to all of those kinds of things anyway. So I would say that if you've somebody in your life, please explain to them how you feel, how it makes you feel. Explain, communicate. They're not going to know unless you tell them, because if it's somebody like Mike in my situation who rarely has had a headache, they're not going to understand. So explain to them, look, I get like this is how I feel, this is what I need, please, like, I need this. So I'm very lucky in that when I say to Mike, oh my god, I'm getting a migraine, he just jumps up, he's like, right, medication, here, get into bed, helps me change into my pajamas, gets me water, does, you know, he's fantastic like that. So if you can have somebody like that in your life that supports you, and that it just takes a bit of pressure off you when you're going through a migraine attack and in the days after. The last thing, I nearly forgot, oh my god, I nearly forgot, an app called Migraine Buddy. So I'll pop a little picture of it in here. Migraine Buddy is brilliant, particularly if you've never diaried anything for your migraines before. So Migraine Buddy will basically guide you through your migraine attack. It'll ask you lots of things like how you feel, what your pain is like, what you've eaten, what you've taken. It goes through everything in intricate detail. And just on the subject of diarying and of the use of things like Migraine Buddy, when I went to my neurologist in Galway that time, the fact that I had a migraine diary was a massive help to him, and he said that to me. He said, wow, you're coming to me with so much information, this is brilliant. So he could literally look back over my pages of my diary and see, okay, well, here you ate this, and here you did this, and here you were stressed, and here you exercised. You know, so he could see a pattern. Definitely use that, and that will help you in documenting everything that you need, and it'll help your doctor when you go there as well. So I'm going to end on that note. Thank you so much for watching. This is a totally different video for me, and I really hope that you got something from it. Please, if you have any information, if you can give any value to this kind of conversation about migraine, please leave a comment down below. I really just wanted to give people information and share some of my experiences with migraine. So yeah, please do comment down below. Thanks again, and I'm going to see you in my next video.